Hi, welcome to my bed once again. It's a different bed, I know, I hope you're not too confused, but I moved and it took me a while to have a bit of a setup with a nightstand actually and a lamp, but it's not going to be perfect, but I'm still very much looking forward to making this video, this little ASMR show for you, and I have a lot to show you. A lot of catching up to do with nice, relaxing things. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to spending some time with you. And here's a short preview of what you can expect. All these catastrophes pile onto each other. It's just like one series of catastrophes. And it just doesn't seem to stop. I mean, because I wanted to talk about kind of the OGs of ASMR.
Alright, now I'm going to use this little tool. It sort of looks like a squid. Prime your skin with moisturizer and a tint. Okay.
It just ruffles my frills that you have chosen me today.
The jar. This is a jar. This is called Divine Timing.
Things like heat, tingling, a sense of peace, a sense of love, a wave sensation traveling over the body.
Just by the way, I have this little globe here, which actually has a light inside of it. I just found it here. And then also I have this interesting pebble lamp. And I have this wooden bowl where there's always one apple inside of it. It's just a symbol. And then I have this beautiful bowl which gives me magic powers and allows me to communicate with my masters, my lords, Sauron and Saruman. Exactly. Just wanted to let you know. I thought I'd start with what I've been thinking of or about this week. And I've been thinking a lot because my brain is always hyperactive and looking for problems, more or less. And right now, unless you live on the moon, you probably heard of this China coronavirus, which basically hits the headlines. Thousands of people being infected in China, whole cities being shut down, 40 dead or more. You have infected people in Europe too now, in France, and also in America and all over the world. And they built like 2 different hospitals in China in a few weeks or something. So it's kind of scary because I think we've watched enough movies and series to know how this is all going to end up, right? There's going to be like mass extinction of people, panics, people roaming the streets, eating people, and then the virus is going to lead to a big zombie apocalypse, and there's only going to be a few survivors who fight these zombies, right?
But what we didn't know was that the day before, they released the airborne parasite in every major transport hub in the world. It was too late. 24 hours later, people started to turn, and you know what happened after that. Only took 7 days for the world to go dark. So I think you're one of the survivors.
It's pretty quick for our minds to go in this direction. And especially with those viruses, it's just so hard to grasp. But it's kind of scary, it's true, because it's not an infection that you could fight with antibiotics. It's a virus, so it's not really clear what's going to happen. And then what also seems to be an issue is that all these catastrophes pile onto each other. It's just like one series of catastrophes. and it just doesn't seem to stop. I mean, it was just the war in Syria and ISIS, and then there was the conflict with Iran and almost World War III. People were already preparing to be drafted, and then basically these Australian bushfires. We have Libya, there's issues, then we have, I mean, thousands of things that seem to pile onto each other, impeachment of Trump and so on. It seems to be logical to just say, do we just live in the worst times ever? Like, is 2020 gonna be the fucking catastrophe year where the world is going to end? And honestly, I don't know. But at the same time, I think it's a good opportunity to assess whether you fall into the trap of sensationalism and catastrophes being spewed by the media. Because one thing that's pretty obvious to me is that the media has changed very much in their messaging and broadcasting, because they have to compete with the internet and they have to compete with social media. So basically, the outlet with the most outrageous headline is the one that is going to win. And the media notice that they have to make people angry and make them jealous and make them afraid. And this is just the best way to attract clicks, and by using clickbait headlines. So Twitter is also another thing which basically, and all these social media led to people being more scared, but also most importantly more informed. Because back in the day, I think there was just a newspaper or maybe one or two channels where you could see some news, but now you have live information about everything that happens in the world. So obviously it's going to be, if you choose to engage in that information, you can basically find something terrible every second, basically. Some murder, some rape, some disease, some tragedy, some catastrophe, some war. And within our lifetimes, we will always see this unfolding this way. The funny thing is, this is actually not even accurate, because the world is getting better. There's enough proof of this, like the Steven Pinker books, where he basically demonstrates how the world is getting better. It's getting safer, there's less wars, there's less rape, there's better education, there's less poverty. So in a way, everything gets better. And he was actually attacked for stating these facts, because it doesn't fit into the narrative that everything is bad and everything gets worse. And it's interesting, right, that people basically don't want to accept that things might get better, because then your own individual suffering is not supported anymore in a way, or there's no evidence or there's no reasoning why you should be pissed all the time. And I think that's the most important thing to realize. It's mostly coming from within your own pain body, as Eckhart Tolle would call it. If you feel bad about yourself because maybe there might not be a specific reason, but it's just some built-up tension and some negativity, you're going to try to find a pattern or an explanation why this is. And then some go to relationships, some go to their job, and many go to something really bad in the world happening and like to think about it and fantasize about it. There are obviously really bad things happening in this world, and what should we do about it? It's not easy, and I think it's probably a good thing to do a social media and news diet. That is something that I decided for myself, because reading all these news just makes me anxious and almost depressed. And I think you're not really getting smarter, because it's always the same information being regurgitated, just basically you being manipulated into feeling certain emotions. And this is why I think I heard some professors, or even the podcaster James Altucher, who said he doesn't read the news because if there's something important that he needs to hear, he's going to be reminded of this by some colleagues or some friends who are going to want to talk about it. So he's going to know about the really relevant stuff, which is probably good. And second of all, I think when you do this information diet, it's good to replace this negative, low-level information with positive, uplifting information. And this could be books about spirituality, about philosophy, maybe about history. And it's good to have something like next to you on your nightstand, maybe Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, or just any book that basically lifts you up, because sometimes you just want to consume something. I don't know, at least it's for me the case. My mind sometimes needs information, because otherwise it gets super anxious. Like if I don't put new information into my brain, I get in a weird state where I'm kind of scared and confused, which is probably not a good sign. I should probably go to a psychiatrist about this issue, but still, in any case. But if I get to this point, I want to pick up something that's good and valuable. I learned this from Ben Greenfield, who says, I think he even reads the Bible or something, which isn't always super positive, and he's not a born-again Christian. One thing I also read, or one thing that I would recommend you read as well, is the Stoics, who, even though they lived thousands of years ago, they basically gave us a lot of good insights about how to cope with difficult times like these, you could say. Because times are always difficult, right? In a way. You could also say they're always easy and always similar, but whatever. So basically, one really important point made by Seneca and Epictetus, I think, is to differentiate between things you can control and things you cannot control. That's one of the basic tenets of Stoicism, is to recognize that most of the things, 90%, 95%, you cannot control. They're out of your control. And this is stuff like political decisions, war is going on, this very disease happening right now in China, you can't really control it. Almost everything, what other people do, how they react. So it's really important to notice the few things you have control over, and this is mostly your own life, your own health, your own well-being, and your own habits. And the rest, it's usually better to just accept it in a loving and patient way. And just accept that we humans aren't perfect at all and will always be kind of frenetic, weird beings. Another good thing to do is to read biographies and history books, because we will notice that what we have now, all the issues and troubles, is nothing new. As I said, the Stoics were already battling these big philosophical questions like, what is the meaning of life? How should I live? Why do I feel stressed out about the world and anxious? And they had pretty good answers, actually. We didn't really come up with better answers than these guys. But also you can see these patterns in history about wars unfolding, about diseases. For instance, like 15 years ago, there was a very similar virus to the one in China. It was called SARS. Many of you might not remember even, but there was also similar news about the whole world going to end. And there was also like a chicken flu or something, and then there was the cow pest or something, where everybody was scared of eating cow meat, because basically your brain is going to dissolve when you get that as a human. And there were like a few people who apparently died from it. So there's always a new thing that people are really worried about, which doesn't mean that this new coronavirus isn't going to be problematic. I just wonder why they had to call it like this beer. Whatever. So, okay, let's talk maybe what can you do to not get freaked out about those things and be more at peace, because that's what this channel is about, right? Finding calm. I think, yeah, go on a social media diet. I think it's great to help others because you have control over that. Do something good for yourself. I think it's good to meditate and maybe read about Buddhism or Stoicism, because this equanimity is very important and very well explained there. And then I think it's great to do things that get you from your head into your body. Could be intense sport, could be sex, could be hot or cold exposure like sauna and then jumping into a cold pool. All this stuff where basically I think you get out of this frenetic thinking mode into your body, into the senses. Let's talk about things that helped me find calm this week, because I have a quite big selection this week, because I wanted to talk about kind of the OGs of ASMR, because recently when I looked at ASMR to relax and fall asleep, I saw quite a few ASMR artists from back in the day when all things started, who started making ASMR videos again, which I was really happy about. And this is why I thought I would dedicate this section to these pioneers of ASMR, these OGs of ASMR, so to say, who really pioneered in this field and made it the big thing that it is today almost. So first of all, there's Heather Feather, who back in the day was really one of the biggest ASMR artists. She has an interesting voice, kind of like an anime character, and she's a bit crazy, you could maybe say, but in a good way. I really find her adorable. And she just recently, like a few months ago, started posting videos again. And she has a pretty good video with like a facial spa, I think, where she also walks around you. And if you don't know her, she was really one of the biggest back in the day, maybe the just behind Mariah from Gentle Whispering, and she's great, so please check it out.
Welcome to Feathered Touch. My name is Heather, and today I'm going to give you the world's greatest head massage. I'm just going to gather some tools that I'm going to be using on you today. Have you ever had a head massage? Now I'm going to do some gentle hair pulls, twists, and tugs. I like to get under the hair and squeeze the scalp. Now I'm going to use this paddle brush to awaken your scalp for massage. I'm going to use this spray bottle to wet your hair slightly to help integrate the oil onto your scalp and hair. Alright, now I'm going to use this little tool. It sort of looks like a squid. Next up is this very sci-fi looking contraption. It's going to massage your head while contracting and releasing at the same time. It feels incredible. I'm going to gently place it over your head. But first I need you to close your eyes. The next step is this vibrating comb. I'm going to use it all over your scalp, along your hairline, and down your neck. Ready? Now I'm going to use this strange little massage glove. I won't leave you with that oil in your hair, so I'm going to rinse it out using warm, invigorating, sparkling water. So close your eyes for me. And then wrap up your head with a nice warm towel.
Alright, another one of these great first ASM artists was Fairy Char. She is adorable too. She has a bit of a unique high-pitched voice, but I like it. And she was also one of the first big ones. And I also was happy to see that she started making videos again. She started making some makeup videos, and especially this one spa makeup video I really liked, and I wanted to show you bits of it.
Hey, welcome to the Fairy Char Spa. Yeah, that's me. Nice to meet you. Just put it. I'm so sparing. This one is 68% alcohol. Okay. Just one drop on your forehead, on your cheek, and this side. And now we'll just blend. I love blending this. So first I primed your skin with moisturizer and a tint. Okay, and then I gave you sunscreen with also a tint. So those layers already kind of masked your imperfections. And then after the primer powder, I added the foundation, which also masks any imperfections. So you've got 3 layers to cover, but still a little see-through because we want natural skin to show through. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. That's it. Yeah, you're welcome. Sure.
I mean, obviously in this list of ASM artists, I can't leave out Mariah from Gentle Whispering, who's kind of the queen of ASMR, so to say. She's been probably the first woman to really become famous with ASMR. She's been at it from day one almost. She always has great quality. She takes her time to make videos, but then they're always good. She hasn't stopped ever making videos, and she has great role plays, like where she's in a Tesla, where she does really good haircut videos, and where she is a salesman of kitchen stuff. So she's great. And she recently made a video where she's in her own garden, I think, and some kind of plant-themed ASMR video, which I really liked because of the colors. But also she has some spraying in it and some different triggers, which I really liked. So
Welcome to my garden. It usually blooms during winter months. It likes filtered light, moderate temperature. Wonderful. Okay. So now that we're getting done, I can introduce you to a couple more plants if you wish. I have some more succulents for you to meet too. Succulent plants. Just so that you can make friends with them, okay?
So I guess if Mariah is the queen of ASMR, then Dimitri is the king of ASMR. He almost was the first one who really gained popularity and had like 100,000 subscribers by doing ASMR. He recently didn't upload so many videos, which is a bit unfortunate. I'm not sure why exactly, because his videos are always so great. I just remember his soap paper crinkling videos, or his Dr. Dimitri role plays, basically. His older role plays are just so good that I want to show you one of my favorite role plays, probably the one ASMR video that I've watched the most, maybe, which is a haircut video where he also puts some lotion on you and really is so gentle.
Hello, welcome to the ASMR Center of Relaxation. My name is Manuel, and I would like to thank you for choosing me as your ASMR artist today. It just ruffles my frills that you have chosen me today. And also just to very gently brush the chin area. I find it very relaxing as I move around and just brush your chin. So I'm just working very gently, giving you a little bit of ear massage. And it's a great way just to start the relaxation process. I must admit, I always loved going to the hairdresser when I was young. How does that feel? A little bit of head massage is a great way just to relax and just remove that stress and tension that you have.
Then there's Gibi, who is like probably the biggest ASMR artist now. I'm never sure how to pronounce it, if it's Gibi or Gibi, and if it's has to do with Studio Ghibli, or if it's for Gabrielle or something, or if it's a first name. But in any case, she's super creative and super consistent. She just knows what works, and I think she surpassed Mariah in terms of subscribers a while ago. She has these great ideas, like recently she made a video where she over-explains certain trivial items and uses them multiple times, which doesn't sound super relaxing, but believe me, it was quite relaxing.
I'm going to repeat myself until I'm positive. I'm going to repeat myself. I'm going to repeat myself until I'm absolutely positive. I'm going to repeat myself. The jar. This is a jar. This is a jar. the lid. This is the lid. This is a jar, and this is the lid. The jar, the lid. I'm going to teach you how to put something inside of a jar. Okay? What you have to do is open the lid. You can't put something inside if it's not open. Okay? It needs to be open. This needs to be open right here. You have to take the lid off so that you can put something inside of it. So, the first pair of glasses are these. These glasses. This pair of glasses. This is a round pair of glasses. Round pair of glasses. Take the bowl in your hand. So this is your hand and this is the bowl. You take the bowl in your hand and you want to place the bowl onto the surface. So in this case, the surface would be my other hand. So not this hand, but this hand.
And by the way, Fast ASMR also made a version of this just recently, and she's also probably the OG German creator of ASMR, has been doing this for a long time, so I gotta include her in this list as well.
But it's not easy. It's not as easy as it looks. So here's what you need to do. It needs to go right in between there. Can you see that? Can you see? I hope you can see how the thumb and the index finger are right around the lid. The lid is right in between the thumb and the index finger. Okay, good. Grab that. Hold on to it really well. Grab it. Okay, make sure you grab it really well, just so it doesn't fall. Grab it and pull and pull and pull and pull and pull and pull and pull. I'm gonna try and explain it right now. So this is a safety lid. This here is a safety lid. This right here is a safety lid. You can find it on many medicines. It's so that kids or adults who don't really know how to do stuff can't open it. Okay, good.
So who else? I gotta include Tony Bomboni in this list as well, because I've always been a fan of his, and he has always been uploading a lot, like every day. If I was him, I would probably take a bit of a break and maybe upload a bit less, but that's his thing. And just very recently he uploaded a video where he remakes his most popular video, which was called The Most Relaxing ASMR Video Ever Created Part 4.
Comfortable with yourself. With your own.
And to be honest, I kind of preferred the old video because it was just so good. He talks about these bracelets which some sponsor gave to him, and he was so enthusiastic about them, and he had some different triggers in those.
I have many of them here. Picked out the black set and the aqua set. So you have numerous combinations when you buy 2 sets of bracelets. I craft them so beautifully. I can't get enough of them. I think these 3 make the most sounds on their own. See how great it looks? You can just wear them together.
And the whole series is great. There's also another one of these best, most relaxing compilations where he shows his own jewelry, which he was so proud of. It's called Uga Chunga, I think. He doesn't do them anymore, but still, I really liked what he was doing.
Cute. divine timing. And I swear the sounds weren't intentional, but they make the best sounds. Thank you, Jesus. They have 2 clocks on the sides, a moonstone in the middle. This is called Dagmar's Spirit because her name was Grandma Dagmar. So,
what else? I think when you talk about OGs, you gotta mention Olivia Kispers too. Unfortunately, she stopped making videos, ASMR videos recently, and it was kind of a shitstorm almost in the ASMR community because she made 1 or 2 videos where she says, I don't want to do ASMR anymore because it doesn't work. And a lot of her fans were angry about that because I guess ASMR isn't the right method to cure depression or trauma. That might be wrong, but it's a great relief for many people who can't sleep or have anxiety. So yeah, people felt a bit angry about that, and I think now she's mainly doing meditations and coaching. And still, I think you have to give her credit because she's a very creative person, very artsy. She is a singer too, I think, and she put lots of nice music in her role plays. And just one of her role plays that is beautiful visually and from the sounds. So I think you have to give her credit. She's also been doing this for a long time, and I think you have to respect if she wants to change careers, but still, she's a great ASM artist, and this is why I want to include her in this list.
So it will be relaxing you and nourishing you from the inside out. These are very special 5 different jars I have here for you. Flower base, very intense in your hair, so I'm going to put just a small amount, just a couple of drops in will be enough. It's because your life can be divided into 5 different categories. Yes, it can be whatever is important for you. Important things in your life. It can be your family.
I think when talking about OGs, you have to mention Ephemeral Riff too. Complicated name, but one of my favorite ASM artists. I think I told you that once at the beginning I asked him like which mics I should get, and he actually replied to me, which was super nice. I think we would get along. What he thinks about society and being more in nature and things like this. He's always super creative with his videos, like the masks he uses, the props he has, the settings he has. It's never just what everyone does. It's always something creative, something unique.
Alright, I think we're safe. I don't hear the killer's heartbeat. Oh man, looks like you're pretty banged up there. Some really deep wounds. You know, it's kind of funny. Don't worry, this won't take too long. Just get the other glove on. I love that sound. Sterile gauze. I think this might help.
I want to mention Paris ASMR as well, because he was, I think, the first French ASMR artist who really became popular, also with different chocolate tasting videos, and I remember his haircut role plays, which were great, and he has a great voice, and I really like him. He's been doing ASMR for a long time. He still does ASMR videos, most of them being in French, And here's a recent one where he basically gives you personal attention because you have a cold. So check it out.
J'espère que tout va bien pour toi. Alors j'ai l'impression que tu as un petit rhume. Il fait tellement, mais alors tellement froid en ce moment. Alors j'ai toujours du sérum physiologique avec moi. Alors je vais en mettre un petit peu. Donc qu'est-ce qu'on fait? On l'émulsionne. Voilà, une fois que c'est émulsionné, eh bien, on peut y aller. C'est grâce au méthylglyoxal qu'on dit qu'il a des vertus extrêmement cicatrisantes. Oui, je vais ouvrir. Je prends mon temps. Donc, je vais te montrer à quoi ça ressemble. Si j'y arrive. Donc tu vois, c'est un onguent. C'est vraiment une espèce de petite pâte. Alors, est-ce que tu connais l'extrait de pépins de pamplemousse? Est-ce que ça te parle? J'en ai sur moi. J'en ai toujours sur moi. Je sais pas si tu entends. T'as un liquide.
Another one that I have on my list is WhispersRed, who also never really stopped making videos. I'm happy that she still regularly posts videos, and I just like her. I think she has a good soul. She doesn't always do crazy big long videos with millions of triggers, but just in general I think she has a great talent for relaxing things. She has a relaxing voice too, and this is why she's also on my list.
Another one. This one. Okay. So I've done this side. Moisturizing at the same time. Place it gently on the head there. Move it around so gently.
And then finally I have Massimo. He is the guy from ASMR Barber. You might have seen him already, but he was kind of the first one who introduced this barber ASMR style, where basically he would just travel around the world and visit different barbers and have them cut his hair and massage him. It's probably the best job in the world, right? But he's great. He's still doing his thing. I'm happy that he's still successful. I've also watched a lot of unintentional ASMR this week. As you know, I'm a big fan of unintentional ASMR. And in case you didn't know, I have a second unintentional ASMR channel where I put these smaller videos on, which I'm gonna link in the description too. And all the clips that you're gonna see now are on this second channel. And one great clip was by a guy called Rodney. He's an Australian, and his channel is called Rodney Reviews. He's a super nice guy. I wrote to him and we wrote a few messages. And he basically made this video where he reviews sand from Australian beaches, which sounds kind of insane, but the way he uses like chopsticks to look at the sand and like describes the nature and the texture of the sand is just super relaxing. He doesn't take himself too seriously, and he doesn't really do ASMR videos usually, but this one I found quite relaxing, so please check it out.
I'm going to review sands from Australian beaches. The first sand I'm going to review is from the beach Maroubra. This texture of this Maroubra beach is more of a bone colour, not the whitest sand in Australia, but also not the darkest. See how it just flows and expands as well, going all around the table and around the chopping board. Look at that. Imagine yourself walking over from South Maroubra, walking over past the rocks there where the nice rock pool is, then past here where the ship is, the Rubik's Cube, and over to here where the no swimming sign is, and people still swim anyway because it's just so marvellous. I think I'd give Maroubra Beach's sand 3 stars. Wow, I wasn't expecting that granular like that in Gary Beach. Oh, look at this, comes out a little clunky, this one. Look at those clunks of that, it's much more pure. More clunky indeed, more glued together as opposed to the individual granules from the other beaches. You can feel the moisture in the sand granules right here. Marvellous, look at that. Just needs a little bit of fine granuling up just to make it a bit more comparable to the other two. Oh, can't draw on point. 3 stars. This is from Hyman's Beach, the whitest sand on Earth. Cronulla tries to claim the whitest beach on Earth, but the whitest sand on Earth is from Hyman's Beach. Look at that white sand. It's just marvellous really, isn't it? The texture of it is just amazing. It is a bit gluggy as well, but the purity of this, actually amazing. The sound of that, it just sounds like, this is like 1,000 million pillows. The softness of it is so comforting and beautiful. Let's have a closer look at the Hyman's Beach. Just amazing. Look at that granule. You know, it never gets boring looking at sand, does it? Just beautiful. That's amazing sand. Look at that beautiful sand. I rate this Highams Beach sand 4.5 out of 5.
Okay, what else? I think my second favorite video was a healing touch video where a woman demonstrates how she heals patients in her session. It's a bit of a spiritual practice where she talks about chakras, but I don't even want to be cynical about it. I think there's something to it. And she basically feels the energy field and where it drops down, and then she does a few different things to open up the chakras again. And she has a nice voice, and if it helps her patients, that's great. So here it is.
So what I'm going to do is have you lie down on the table, and then I'm going to assess your energy field, looking at your energy centers, called chakras, and your energy field, so I can get a good sense of what's going on. I'm going to use a pendulum, which is my version of a stethoscope. So I'm going to start by just taking, I can use anything with a weight on it. This happens to be a nice little rock on a chain. You can use a necklace, you can use a paper clip on a piece of dental floss. So what I'm doing is looking to see what are the energy centers doing. And a clockwise circle, like this started out but changed, shows me an open chakra, and anything else shows me that it's compromised. So what you're presenting is that all of your energy centers or chakras are blocked. And that's nothing to be concerned about, because with the kinds of things that you've told me are issues, that would be normal. I'm just going to put this down here. Then I'm going to take my hands and do what we call a hand scan, and just run my hands down. I've learned to be very heightened in my sensitivity so that I can feel areas of perhaps tingling or vibration or heat, or areas that might feel prickly or something like that. So through your whole body there's a sense of a kind of prickly feeling, like if one took a balloon and rubbed it in your hair. And I'm going to check where the edges of your energy field are. They should be eggshell shaped around your body. So it's pretty heightened up here over your head, perhaps related to your brain fog. And then it comes down through your chest and it drops off right about at your waist. And then I don't feel it very much. So when a person has a presentation like this, it's frequently that they don't have a lot of energy. Part of what we want to do is get you grounded and back down in your body. I'm going to gently place my hands on your body, working my way up, and I'll spend a little more time on your joints and on your head because of the brain fog, to see if we can't get everything settled down for you. You don't have to do anything. Close your eyes, relax, take some deep breaths, and just let go. I'm going to bring my hand up to the chakra that's just in the area of the ribs. This is the seat of the mind. So we have physical, emotional, mental. This area at the mind is also relationships, self-esteem, and your personal power. Then we come up to the heart chakra. We're starting to get in now to the areas of the spiritual chakras, as we call them. And I'm going to do the heart and the throat. The throat chakra is your area of communication. The brow chakra has to do with clarity, intuition, sinuses, headaches, the eyes. So from the brow, I'm also going to hold the crown at the top of the head. This chakra connects you to the divine in whatever way you see that to be. And I can feel under my hand on your forehead the energy moving around. It feels like it's waving back and forth. My hand is kind of moving with the energy. I'm not moving my hand, as this chakra that needs to spin clockwise is trying to open. I'm going to take my hands and gently move through your energy field, pulling up and out to clear any other debris that may be in the field and to help reset your energy pattern now into a new healthy pattern. I can also do a very smoothing, calming motion.
What else? There was a shoemaker who very meticulously repaired some boots, some red wing boots, and it's just incredible how much effort and time goes into this, and there's some pretty intense like hammering and scraping sounds, which I liked. then there was a Native American man, radio warrior, he calls himself, who basically explained his traditional way of smudging, or his culture's traditional way of smudging. It's basically like incense, and how you put it in a certain bowl, and you have like a feather to distribute it. And he is quite soft-spoken, and he basically wants to also campaign for it, because some people apparently have prejudices against this, and one person wasn't admitted to an apartment because she was smudging, which I also find kind of ridiculous, but here it is.
This here is an abalone shell, and it's part of my sacred bundle. This abalone shell has some sacred herbs in it from a smudge. I did a ceremony today, and because it was in the city, I didn't want to put the ashes of the rest anywhere but on the earth, which I think is respectful. The east is represented by tobacco. This tobacco leaf, cedar, gathered respectfully, and cedar is representative of the south. So we have all the directions. We put them in the smudge bowl, and as you can see, my feather from my bundle, we light the sacred herbs in the smudge bowl, and then we use a feather to kindle the flame.
And then there was somebody who did a quite impressive job at fixing an old knife. Looks kind of like a golden engraved Egyptian knife or something, and there's quite rough sounds, which I had to kind of edit the sound quite significantly, but still I enjoyed the video. There's another unintentional ASMR video that I wanted to talk about, and this is also by a man who is kind of a spiritual healer. He was a chiropractor back in the day, but now he has this quite unique way of healing patients. Basically, he has a big list where he writes down all the stuff, and then he almost like does healing with his hands, just without touching the patient. I'm not sure if that really helps, but then he goes to the patient and kind of massages him a bit, but then he talks to the patient in a suggestive way and almost describes ASMR like you might feel tingling or something. And I believe he's basically hypnotizing his patients, and he's inducing ASMR into them.
Okay, I'm going to do some healing first, and then I'm going to do some muscle work around your back second. Now, about 50% of the people I work with, when I'm doing the healing and God's working through me, about 50% sense something at the time. Things like heat, tingling, a sense of peace, a sense of love, a wave sensation traveling over the body, or a sense that someone's holding their feet, even when I'm not touching them. I did some healing with your immune system. I did some healing with your lymphatic system. I did some healing with your spine and the neck, mid-back, low back, and pelvis. I did some healing with the joints, bones, discs, ligaments and tendons, muscles, nerves. If you can, drink plenty of water today. Spiritual healing has a tendency to release some toxins. The water flushes it on through. Have a wonderful response.
Just so you know, I also created like an unintentional ASMR compilation on the best unintentional ASMR channel, where I also introduce older videos as well, which I think you might enjoy as well. Okay, I think finally I kind of want to talk about something that I've been enjoying, because I try to focus on learning new things and doing new things, because I think it's important to do new things and to be aware of things that you enjoy. And also part of my journaling habit is to not only write down what I'm grateful for, but also what I'm looking forward to doing. And so what I really enjoyed doing is I started training kickboxing and grappling. Just recently, you might have heard me talk about it already, but I just had like a few training sessions, but I already have some dots here. I don't know if you can see it, but pretty proud battle scars already, where somebody basically kicked me on here. So it's pretty intense. It's actually, I go there like 3 times a week, maybe 4 times a week, and we start off with like pretty intense warm-up. Then we do different, we pair up, and then we do different punching and kick combinations, which are pretty difficult to memorize, to be honest. I kind of struggle with it. And then the last 15 minutes or so are like pure hell. It's basically military style sit-ups and planks and push-ups and squats and all this stuff, and crunches. So it's really like kind of hellish, but it's great for me because my cardio isn't that good. And yeah, I was thinking why it's so good for me, because okay, first of all, I really like it for some reason. I think I had wanted to start training some MMA for a long time, and the kickboxing and the grappling is just, I think, a perfect outlet for maybe some aggressions. But I didn't feel like, I mean, sometimes people think there's gonna be aggressive, evil people who are attracted to these sports, but I didn't feel that at all. Like, the people in the gym are so nice. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, they were, like, if I asked them something, they were like talking for 10 minutes explaining to me how I could shadow box better and stuff like this. And incredibly friendly so far, the people that I met. Nobody was overly competitive or something. And I think what's so great about doing something new like this is that you're being humbled. Because me, I don't think I'm particularly good at it. I never did it really, so I'm not good at punching. I always leave my guard down, so this is something that I have to remind myself of. I mean, I have some power, but I'm not really that good at coordination, apparently. I always forget the different patterns somehow. So I'm definitely one of the worst doing the training right now, and to me this is definitely humbling to be one of the worst, to not be so good. And also I think it's very motivating to have something where you see that you're making progress and you're getting better. I just recently wrote about this in my newsletter, findcalm.com, that basically Scott Adams says you need something where you're getting better at to be happy. That's one of the key elements of happiness, to have a trajectory and to have a future where you can progress towards. Because if we feel like we're going down, it makes us depressed. But if we feel like we're progressing in some form, in some area, this makes us happy. That's just how we humans are wired for some reason. So it's actually a good thing for our happiness. But I think honestly the most important thing for somebody like me is the groundedness thing, because I'm not very grounded. This is something I'm struggling with. I'm mostly living inside of my head. I mostly don't feel my body because I'm so in my head. I'm thinking so much, I'm imagining stuff, I'm making scenarios, I'm creating patterns all the time and analyzing the world, which has some benefits, but mostly it leads to some weird tension inside of me. So doing the fighting forces you to be present, because otherwise you get kicked in the head or something, and you need to be fully focused to actually even do the right punches and the right sequence of things. So it is perfect for me to be grounded and to kind of get out of my shell too, because there's loud music and there's people around me. So I've really enjoyed it, and I think you don't have to be like a wild, big, strong dude to start fighting in this way. I think it can also give you some self-confidence to maybe not be so scared of maybe scary situations, and maybe having the knowledge to theoretically being able to defend yourself can actually be transferred to many areas of your life as well, where you might get more self-confidence. I don't know, let's see. This is something that I'm kind of hoping for. Thank you so much for being here with me. I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to seeing you soon again. If you have any questions or suggestions, please kindly just write me. I'm gonna reply or read everything. And it was great, and I hope you have a great evening as well. Talk to you soon.